This is unquestionably my favourite band. I've seen them, not as much as Emma Blackery, but for a band, I've seen them more than any other. I think I've seen Bombay Bicycle Club 5 times? And at some point, I will definitely see them again. I adore them. The story with me, it's not one of being super into underground music. No, I found out about them from their biggest album, So Long See You Tomorrow, in 2014. Now over 10 years ago, damn. I was a plucky 16-year-old into quirky indie music that I would find in the back catalogues of the iTunes store. But this one made it onto the radio, and that's how I found out about it. I was an indie kid who didn't know how. Anyway, I found out about them. It took me 3 years to actually listen to any of the other albums. I remember when I first listened to Always Like This, which is still their most popular song, and thinking, what the fuck is this? And then just neglecting their first album, which I would say is one of their best. I think I've said it in a video before, my favourite of their albums is their third album. That features a lot on this list. I remember finding about that December 2017? I remember I just started listening to it and it was How Can You Swallow So Much Sleep, first track, and immediately just falling in love. And that was it. Also about their first album, track 1, called Emergency Contraception Blues, that I was just like, I get you're weird when you're a teenager, but did you have to be that weird? Anyway, number 20, other side of that first album, I've calculated it, or I think an algorithm did, or something did, calculated it to be, What If? It's such a generic kind of shouty, angsty, punky teenage song, but usually they're so exaggerated, whereas I feel that this one is just a lot more earnest. It's just about being so nervous to speak to someone. And Jack, as another thing I love about this band, the lead singer has the same name as me. Jack is just incredibly blunt the way he wrote the song. He doesn't seem to be like a very complicated person. I feel like he was less complicated when he was a teenager, which is probably why he struggled to fit in and felt the need to write this song. But it's just, I mean, I say this all the time, it's just an honest song. And it was just his little pocket to get out a bunch of emotion, which you need to do. But for me, it's nostalgic. It really exudes the early 2010s kind of punk scene that I could never really get into because at the time I was like 11 and still in primary school, or first year of high school. But I guess it's got an air of like what could have been if I were born in the early 90s. For number 19, it's from their second album, Rinse Me Down. It's how the album starts, and it's such a quaint, delicate song. I have no idea what the lyrics mean. That's one thing I love about Bombay Bicycle Club. The lyrics are all over the place. The songs have pretty nice structure. This song, I don't get the lyrics at all. But the instrumentation is so delightful and pretty. I love listening to it if it's like coming into sunset and I'm in the countryside. I'll go for like spring walks, and as I'm making my way back to a nearby village with a train station, the sun's about to set, I'll put on this album and it just fits the scenery perfectly. Quite a turnaround for number 18. I have it as Beg, which is, I think, like a bonus track from their third album. And it's that fast pace. It's got quite an urgent beat to it, but it's not overpowering. It's really there. But all the instrumentation around it perfectly fits it. Again, I discard the lyrics. I barely even know them. I don't think there are actually many to them. But the construct of the song is such a great driving, charging song that just makes you feel like you can get a bunch of shit done. Number 17 is another album starter, Overdone, from their fourth album. We've gone first, second, third, fourth. Again, these guys, they just know how to start an album. Overdone starts their fourth album perfectly. I feel like it's a song that so well encompasses, even though it's quite an upbeat, uplifting song with loads of different instrumental textures, even I feel is a really good introduction to the really quiet songs on the album, like the last one, So Long See You Tomorrow. I feel like it is a proper introduction to the entire album. And it's not on this list, but Emergency Contraception Blues, utterly ridiculous name. It does start their first album off perfectly though. Especially the fact that the last song rolls into it. And so if you leave the machine on repeat, which that was back in the that album was released back in the day of CDs, like it would just roll around and start doing the same beat and same music again, just at a slightly faster pace with an electric guitar. These guys, when they start the album, it is crafted perfectly. And going up onto a next album, number 16, from their 5th album, Do You Feel Loved? It's one of the tracks near the end, and I feel they placed that very well, because this is another very introspective song. My favourite thing about it is the juxtaposition of the title and the topic. It's got the word love in it, but it's not generally about love. It's about social media addiction. And there aren't many words to it, but the words that are chosen, especially the line soft blue light on the bed, that perfectly encapsulates the experience of a lot of people in the 21st century with insomnia. And even the instrumentation, especially the flute, I love the flute in that. And I really feel like it's almost given a glimmer of hope that these people with like insomnia and social media addictions and just wallowing in the tornado of all that crap will be saved. And it's almost a song of uplifting and hope for these people. It's just all a delightful song, and it asks that question: do you feel loved? Constantly being stuck on the internet, are you really feeling love from it? For number 15, we're keeping the pattern up from the 6th album. Unfortunately, it can't go further than that because there's no 7th album yet. It is Turn the World On, and that is, I think, my favourite song from that 6th album. Similar pattern with Frank Turner. I think Bombay's best days are, as far as we know, behind them. But this song from their most recent album was a damn good one. No sappy love song, apart from the fact that it's about Jack's toddler early childhood. I think it's about 4 now, Jack's son, and about how Jack looks at him and thinks, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to conquer the world. And the optimism in the lyrics, I mean, he says, I've never felt so optimistic, in one of the first lines. If I was Jack's son and I had that song written about me, I would be so honoured. No, for number 14, we're going all the way back in time to their first ever release, their first ever EP, which includes on it a song called 16. And I think it's just about, in general, them being 16. Oh, it's the nostalgia glasses again. I think I just love how nostalgic it feels. It really, again, just emphasises the late 2000s and the sort of garage indie music that was all around then. And I just have a real sense of nostalgia for it. No real reason for it being up here. I just love the song. The next one is from their acoustic album. It's Jewel. Again, I think it's just, as I was saying about Rinse Me Down, I listen to it and I think I'm in the middle of the countryside just as the sun's setting and I see the twilight. And I feel like the mood of this song accentuates that sort of landscape more than any other on the album. I feel like it has so few words, the tempo is so slow and stripped back. It just really fits that setting. It's such a delicate piece of music. And on a complete other end of the scale, probably one of their most, if not the most energetic song they have, and they keep it up for 5 minutes, from their 3rd album, Your Eyes. And I think they've played that every time I have seen them live. And it's always like the mosh pit song, because it's so bloody energetic and lively and happy, and the lyrics are all over the place. But there is some sort of structure, but there's all the different layers within the structure. There's the kind of bouncy guitar with, I think, like a cowbell every now and then it gets more rocky as you get near to the end, but the familiar beat is still there and you just know how to flap your arms about. And it's just such a happy song in the end, and just that refrain constantly going through the end of Your Eyes But the fact that that's the build-up and you don't need any more build-up. And then it just fades away. It's not a club song, you don't need a big drop. You just need to jump around and have some fun while singing the same 2 words 100 times. That is usually always the pinnacle of the concert for me. Not quite the pinnacle, of course, my favourite song. They always sing my favourite song. It's the pinnacle of the concert, but this is a close second. For the next 2, we go back to the album that started it all. At number 11, I have Ghost. I'm not really sure why. I know I shouldn't be saying this to a song that I'm ranking this high to what I say is my favourite band. I think, again, it's just the nostalgia that in their first album, the early EPs puts in me. It hits deep. And to think I overlooked it until only like six odd years ago. The nostalgia wrapped up in that album from the person I kind of thought I wanted to be when I was 11. It's deep. It is deep. Also the ending. The ending of that song. Most of the songs on their first album, they've just got an end bit where there's just like a minute and a half where they just have a little jam. I love it. It's the best part. It's one of the best features of that album. They really, I guess to an extent, didn't really know what they were doing as for like constructing a typical song. But they knew what they were doing subconsciously because they made a killer album. I think that's the ticket. It's the same with number 10, which I have down as Lamplight, which I think they played the first time I saw them, but I didn't fully recognise it because I think they blended it with Cancel on Me, which has the same time and key. Oh, brilliant song. And the ending. They slow it down and make it really... It's just different layers, not different genres, but just different layers within their genre and their style. It just made the music exciting and intriguing whilst being nostalgic because it's so old. So number 9, it's The Hill, again off the first album, first EP, first everything. I think it's one of the first songs they ever wrote. It's just such a simple song. Just meeting up with your mates in the park. Tomorrow I'm having a bunch of mates around my boat. Not quite sure, we're probably just going to sit around and have some beers and chat shit. And that's probably what they were doing on top of Parliament Hill, which is what this song is about. I was there the other day. I was there really, last weekend. I was there, Parliament Hill. The view is spectacular. Perfect place to be bonfire night. Watch everybody else's fireworks. Best hack for bonfire night if you live in London. But it's such a lovely place. And it's just such a lovely thing to write and sing about, even if it's just so simple. I think it really accentuates kind of another stage in their life they were at, being 16, and these simple pleasures with all the hormonal angst of going through puberty. These simple pleasures of just sitting on top of Parliament Hill and looking over at the views and chatting with your mates, just really helping to make everything better. On quite a different axis, for number 8, going forward 5 albums from their 5th album, I Can Hardly Speak. And I've never fully figured out the meaning of the song. I think it also has something to relate to the for the title song of this album, Everything Else Has Gone Wrong, where it's all about like really struggling to put into words what you want to say. I've never fully dissected the meaning of this song, but I love the reference to the lighthouse. I think that came before they did the lighthouse artwork, but I don't know, the lyrics, again, typical Bombay, seem all over the place, but I feel like it just fit the song perfectly. Again, it's got that thing where I love a song has certain sections, but it's not really strict. Like, this song doesn't have a chorus, it has a couple verses, but then it just has different sections as you go through. And then each different section has quite a different instrumentation, but it's also quite congruent because it's all in the same key. It's just different layers of texture as you go through the song. And I feel like it all just layers up to make a really solid song. So I get to number 7 and completely forget that I should be wearing this t-shirt. I do have merch from this band and I should wear it when talking their great names as opposed to some sweaty, because currently being moored in Hackney, I'm cycling everywhere. Anyway, number 7, Take the Right One. I think it's just the dreamy nature of this song. I feel like it's just so perfect. It's the super dreamy rock song of their 3rd album. And for number 6, I have Favourite Day, which I feel like is the dreamy, lucid folk song of the album. Let's get my crappy lighting set up out of frame. Number 7 and number 6, I really feel like it's the same reason why I love them both. They're so dreamy, and I would play them when I was like on train rides or sat in my room late at night, and I just wanted to feel like I was transported to a wondrous world a million miles away. And the folky version is slightly better than the rocky version, but they're still amazing, beautiful, lovely, dreamy, wispy songs that help make their 3rd album my favourite album of theirs. So we are now in the top 5. And only their first 3 albums are represented in these little few songs. Number 5, it's Magnet from their first album, and it is that oozing out of me. The nostalgia. And I feel like this is the song off of their first album that makes me feel the most nostalgic for a time I never really got to live through because I was too young. But I saw it out of the corner of my eye on odd bits of TV, and like you knew MySpace existed, but you were too young to be on it. Social media was still just an enigma, because I mean, if you're early Gen Z, like you know that you were always like too young for MySpace, but old enough for the shit show that became Facebook. Ooh, but Magnet, the song, I've been dying for them to play it in a concert. I thought they really would, because it's kind of like for their first album, there's a really like chargy, anthemic song that really screams, I'm a teenager and I don't fit in. And it's kind of all a bit bollocksy, but you need to let that energy out sometimes, and this is the best song for it. Oh, I love it so much. And at the complete other end of the spectrum for energy levels, probably one of their wispiest, calmest songs. Again, I said it probably 10 minutes ago, but now I'm rambling on. I love this band too much. But they know how to start an album. And their 3rd album is their best album. They started it the best. Number 4, How Can You Swallow So Much Sleep? Again, it's the same with Overdone. All the different genres and styles and tempos and energy levels of all the different songs on their 3rd album are perfectly encapsulated in this first song, even if it is a very slow and repetitive song. They don't need to say many other words. The song carries itself, and it's a similar instrumentation the whole way through. It's a very, very simple song, but I feel like the little bit that they kind of repeat over and over again is so perfect. They didn't need to create other sections for the song. The song carries itself just by having that over and over again. I always feel like there are these songs that people wish lasted an hour, but they only last 2.5 minutes. And they've kind of emphasised that with this song, that they've kind of got a section that lasts 10 seconds, but they've repeated it enough times, but in a way it's sort of still different and going in different directions, that it can last 4 minutes. And it's just the genius of this song. For number 3, I have what is probably the simplest, not simplest, but the most stripped back, a simple song on what was already a simple album. My God, I don't know what to say about this song. It's such a short song and doesn't have a lot of words, but every time I listen to it, I feel utterly transported. And now just thinking about it in my head, I'm being transported again. That song has power over me, and it is so beautiful yet so simple. The same is true for number 2. I said what I said about Magnet, despite the fact that The Giantess is on the same album. This isn't an angsty rock song of teenagers trying to scream out all their emotion. Nobody really knows what this song is about. The lyrics make next to no sense. They're very repetitive. The instrumentation says it all. It's so delicate and simple, but for me, overwhelming. I remember when I listened to this song, I listened to a song of a bunch of angsty punk rock and jolly little ditties like Always Like This. That's such a jolly, happy song. But just listening to songs like this, and then suddenly this came on. I was like, this reminds me of their second album, but it cuts a lot deeper. This isn't just simple songs to listen to as you doodle around the countryside. This song has some really strong meaning to it, hidden in the instrumentation, not expressed in the lyrics at all, and I can't help but be utterly enchanted by it. What is happening to me? And this song had such a power over me. And then you realise the very last little bit, I already mentioned this, the very last little bit, as they just fade out of the album, and then you hear someone sit out from a chair, is the acoustic version of how the whole album started, with the song with the stupid name. But still, that's only number 2. What the hell is number 1? Like, I know this is one of their most known songs. It's not mainstream to think this song is amazing. This song is just simply their best song. From their third album, it's Shuffle. I know it's not the main song from their third album, but there's a reason. It's a bloody good song. It's possibly the most joyous song I've ever heard. I don't even think the lyrics are that joyful, but it's so upbeat. They played it, I think, every time I've seen them live, and my heart just fills with so many jelly beans when they start singing it, because it is the most delightful, happy song. No matter what the lyrics say, it's just their pinnacle. I'd love to see them try and top it, but this song is just so enchanting and loving, and I'm just repeating the same shit over and over again. Those are my top 20 favourite Bombay Bicycle Club songs. They're my favourite band. I love all them songs. I'm not wearing my glasses. I have been Jack the Music Lover, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!